Brady Bunch. Here we go.
Yes, and Bob. I know we've tried to get Bob on a number
Okay,
of
we're now
times.
streaming on video YouTube.
I'm sorry?
We're now on YouTube.
You're now live.
No, we're
Yeah.
now live, so we need to start the meeting.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I was looking down at the phone thinking Carol was calling me again, and then I didn't hear Adam say it. He just is the, okay.
Bob is coming over here.
No, he's not.
Oh, he's
He
not.
said no. We
All
invited
right.
him to come over, but he said no. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Carol. All right, our meeting for December 2020 is now started. So what do we need to do? We need to look at our minutes from last time and approve them. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve the November 10th minutes?
Actually, we need to do roll call.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry, Kathy.
Okay, so let me do roll call. Jean's here, Kathy Keene, Kathleen Lee, Jim Nemeth,
Here.
Roger Lee,
Here.
Carol,
Yeah.
Ellen,
Here.
Candace, and Carolyn Zitter.
Yeah.
And Bob Green's not here, and Kevin's not here.
Correct.
Okay, roll call's been done.
Okey doke. Can I hear a motion on the last month's minutes? I reviewed them. I didn't see any issues with them. I don't know whether anybody else has done so. Did I remember to send them around?
You did.
Hope I did. Okay. Things come in little, I wish, I'll try to be better about sending the minutes from last month and the agenda at the same time so people don't get assaulted with so much email. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I move we approve the minutes.
Thank you, Jim. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. What are you, a team tonight? All right.
Yeah.
Seconded by Carol Nemeth. Thank you. All in favor?
Here. Okay. Yes,
Aye.
sir.
Okay. Let's move on to Jim with any news about money.
Well, there's always news about money. Couple things. I got the current stats from the city. It was virtually nothing happened in November. We did sell one more $2 Lafayette Trail sticker before they shut down the visitor center, and we had some dealings with the Signature Streetscapes, but they aren't reflected in what the city gave me, other than things they had paid for in the past. So the balances that I got from the city for our budgeted money from the city, the balance is $4,545.72. That reflects the brochures we had printed up a couple months ago, having come out of the original 5,000, but also 3 days before that, something showed up on this bill that wasn't there last bill. So I thought I'd bring it up to you all first to see if any of you might know why. But there's a Home Depot charge from back in October 19th for $149.28. So normally I first question.
How much was the Home Depot bill?
Would that be paint?
$149.28.
Oh, that would be a city.
I have no idea what that is. I would suggest you ask administration to
I'll go back to them.
provide yeah.
I didn't want to always question them first, so I thought I'd try.
Sure. Kathy Keene, you didn't do anything with,
Well, no, but the only thing I could think of was, Roger, when you made the frame for the banner at Grawl Alley, did you buy stuff at Home Depot for that, or?
I did, but I considered it,
Oh,
my
you just don't-
contribution. I didn't present a bill to
Okay.
anybody.
So I don't know what that was. for Home Depot.
Well, I'll check with the city then on that.
yeah, I am not aware of anything. I mean, maybe we're all suffering from the same amnesia here, but
Well, the odd thing was it didn't show up in November.
yeah, perhaps it's an error. It was just assigned. I assume the city uses some kind of fund codes and maybe somehow we got somebody else's fund code on our
We'll just see that.
incorrectly. Yeah, I certainly don't know anything about it. Adam, is it your plan to stay here for a while?
Yeah, I'll be here throughout the duration of the meeting.
You will. Okay. At some point, it would really be nice if I could share my screen. Can I do that?
Yeah, just give me a few minutes.
Okay. I don't need to do it now. I just would like to. It's not the end of the world, but okay. Thanks, Jim.
I'm
So,
not done yet.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
For the escrow account, the balance the city shows is $6,684. However, since the city has yet to pay a invoice from Signature Streetscapes, at least they don't have it in their records here, of $2,426, which was for 10 more plaques.
Right. The latest order.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So taking that out, and then also I have a $50 deposit to make from tours that were made by Kathy, done by Kathy Keene and Ron Browning. So the actual balance that should be in our escrow when those things are taken into account would be $4,308.
$4,308.
And
Okay.
that would then mean that includes having these 10 plaques paid for that.
Right. That's what we have to think about. Okay. Great. Yeah. Just for my own education, when we pay Signature Streets, are we actually paying anything to the city in the sense of each installation?
Well, the city pays the bill out of our accounts. I'm not sure what you mean by us paying the city.
Well, the city charges us to do an installation, don't they?
Yeah, that's all included.
That's
Huh?
all included in that?
That's all included, that $400 installation fee from DPW.
Right.
Well, yeah, what are you calling a $400 fee? You're adding the cost of the medallion. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
The total cost, Joe?
I'm
yes.
trying to understand. I'm trying to remember because I honestly don't remember. We charge more than $400 to
Right.
offset the installation fee. The one I'm asking is, does the city want us to reimburse them for that installation fee, or is it just it's just a thing? In other words, we're getting $425, right? We're
And-
paying $400 to the company that makes the medallion. Where does the other $25 go?
To the city for doing the
Well, the city,
placing the plaque.
that's the answer to my
Yeah.
question. The city is
Yeah.
taking 25. Okay,
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I didn't remember obviously I didn't remember. I wouldn't be asking this question. Okay. Sorry.
That hasn't come up yet because we haven't had any installed since I've been treasurer, so.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, they have to rent a piece of equipment for that. That's why. That's
Yeah.
part of the cost.
Sure. Oh, I mean, it's perfectly fine that they're,
Yeah.
that they're recovering. I'm sure it's not recovering their actual costs probably, but it's very nice. Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay. Moving right along to old business. Carolyn, why don't you go first? Because I have a couple things that.
Sure, okay, yeah, so I reached out to Shane about this, and basically he responded and he said with all the things that are going on with COVID, and he doesn't really think that there's going to be an in-depth discussion until the new year sometime.
This is the landmark properties list.
This is the landmark properties list, right? So that really hasn't picked up much discussion at this point in time.
Right. That's understandable. On the other hand, I think we want to really stay on it.
Sure.
And we will. Okay.
And do you want me to just talk about a couple other things
Sure.
real quick?
Mhm.
So there was a little bit of confusion, at least it was on my part, because there were conversations I had with Tim Whitty about the Moore Family Homestead about painting the interior. And he said they were going to paint the interior. So I saw Ron last week and he had said that Lori had called him and said they were not painting the interior. So I talked to Tim about it and he said basically they've run out of money because they had budgeted X amount of dollars. I can't tell you what exactly it was.
Mhm.
And they were only going to fix the front porch and then do the interior painting.
Oh.
But the other porches were so bad and in such disrepair, they decided that that was a more emergent use for the funds. So he'll look to budget for the next fiscal year for the interior painting, but the money is going to go to the, I think he said he had something like $25,000 in the budget for the Moore Family Homestead. So it's going to repairing some of the windows, and also to making sure that all of the, I think there's 3 porches, and I
Yeah,
looked at the
there's
side
that
porch.
second floor one and- mhm.
Yeah, and that side porch looks like it's going to come down any minute. So,
It does. It looks terrible.
yeah, so they're going to be restoring all of the
Eric, did you
porches.
comment on whether the materials were in to do the porch repair yet?
I think, I didn't ask him that question specifically, but I thought they had started on the front porch, which would mean that the materials were in. So I just made that assumption, but I can get back to him, circle back to him
Well,
on
I
that.
was just curious. I mean, I know
Yeah.
that's been an issue for a lot of construction projects, not just.
Mhm. Yeah. And I checked your mailbox yesterday and there was
Okay.
nothing in it.
Oh, thank you.
So when I went to the council meeting, I went in and I checked the mailbox and there was nothing in there. So.
Great. Thanks for doing that
Um,
while you're in the building. That's
Yeah,
great.
and then the other thing was about the grant. We did not receive the grant.
Right.
So I didn't know if that was common knowledge yet or,
Yeah, I was gonna jump ahead.
saw
That,
that.
let's do it now. As you all know, the Historic Havre Grace Foundation was the applicant, the official applicant. It is a nonprofit, and it was the way to go for the Maryland Historical Trust non-capital grant, which Diane Clare from the City Planning Department was extraordinary in getting that grant underway. And Carolyn was extraordinary, and a lot of people. We will try again.
right? And just so you know that there was, and I think we all knew this in the beginning, there was about $300,000 that they had. They got requests for over $1.5 million. So it was very competitive, but there's another cycle in February for something else. So
Mhm.
they encouraged,
Mhm,
yeah,
there's
encouraged us to
MHAA.
apply.
Yep. So there's options. And as Carolyn mentioned, the pent-up demand, this program was stopped in, I think, 2012 and only got started again in 2018. So there's enormous need around the state. The non-capital grants can be anything from, documentation like we were seeking a grant for, to education programs, a real variety of things. I watched the seminar this morning from MHAA. I got to get these acronyms straight. Maryland Heritage Authority, whatever. And they talked about, and the MHT people were there, and they talked about who had gotten this grant last year. And some of them are pretty impressive. The Southern Maryland ones with the, trying to find a location of a fort. I mean, there are all kinds of really interesting projects competing with us. So I think we're going to try again for sure. And yeah.
Well, too far
and-
away from this tonight, may I just say, I'm really impressed with how well the city, what a great steward of the Moore Family Homestead the city has been. I did go over there for another reason today, and I could
Mhm.
see that the work that they were doing on the exterior, they had all of the shutters in and painted, and they've just really done a wonderful job of taking care of that property. They really are. They've taken it seriously.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that, Carol. While Carolyn was speaking, I was thinking about how the fact that they put a new roof on it last year. So they've done substantial repairs and maintenance to the house, and we're grateful for that. And I think also the collaboration with the Green Team has been just terrific with the Heritage Victory Garden. So yeah, it's a really, really, and plus it's an important corner there. So good. Okay. Other old business. Kathy, you want to talk about the awards process and how we're going to vote in January, and remind people about the Secretary of the Interior standards. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
gonna-
I've been communicating with everybody via email. And, yeah, I sent everybody a list of our criteria for our choices to remind everybody. And also the actual Secretary of the Interior standards. Something happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just
There it
trying to
goes.
share my screen and I wasn't sure I was going to be permitted to do that. So let me see if I can do that. Anyway,
So anyway, yeah, so
I'm sorry.
all you gotta do is keep up with your email, save this Word document.
Sorry about that. I don't know how to turn this thing off. Oh, I see. Never mind.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just
The last time, this is two scams that have come in. Sorry.
So Kathy, I'm sorry, two disruptions there from me and from Ellen. Yeah, I had asked you to remind everyone about the U.S. Secretary of Interior.
you were gonna post it for everybody.
I was, but I didn't want to disrupt everything while you were talking, and I'm going to try again in a minute here.
Okay, so I appreciate everybody's really been responsive this year, a lot better than other years, is sending, sending me pictures and addresses and of all the properties. We had about 5 of them so far, and then recently Jean gave me some other suggestions, which I haven't taken pictures of yet to send out to everybody. So thank you for that. So I guess Jean came up with a list to a spreadsheet, and I can just, we just need a refresher, I guess. And then,
Whoa.
all right,
there it is.
can you still hear me while that's on?
Yes, yes.
So we need to think about it, and we need to vote on these properties by the January meeting, because it takes a while to order these plaques and communicate with the owners, find out, what they want on the plaque and all that kind of stuff. So that's why we always try to have the decision made by the January meeting. So I guess what I'll do is we can use Carolyn's spreadsheet, or I can just send a list out again in the email. So we'll know what all the candidates are, and then everybody just pick 3, your 3 top, and submit it to Carolyn, I think, because she's going to be the one that's
No,
organizing.
it's Jean. It's
I mean, Jean, sorry,
Yeah,
Carolyn.
it's Jean's
Jean-
spreadsheet.
Because
Yeah.
Jean will be organizing everything. So if everybody can pick 3, their top 3, and then she'll figure out who got the most votes, and the top 3 vote getters would be our candidates. If they will commit to displaying the plaque, which we're going to be asking them. And if they won't commit to displaying the plaque, then we'll pick the next highest vote getter.
Yeah,
Because
Yeah.
we got to do something. Where so many of our award winners, they've never put the plaques up. So that's the big purpose of this whole thing, is to mark these houses for the public to see.
Right.
So yeah, we're disappointed about that. We're going to try to do something about that this year.
Great, Kathy. And this list, I added a couple of my own personal ones. And if people, I guess, what will we do? Give people another week to add something if they want to, Kathy? Is that okay?
Yeah, and plus, I don't think this list we're looking at right here doesn't have all of them on there, does it?
I think it does. It has all the ones you had sent me. Mhm.
5 plus
4, 5, 6,
1, 2,
7,
3, 4, 5. Because you sent me 5 of them, and before that I had 5. So the AP McCombs house, the Poldy Hirsch house, 553 Giles.
There are some here that for whatever reason, in conversations, we either discovered in the case of Matthias that had already been awarded a grant, and in other cases, there were some issues
Right.
with,
Yeah. Once we ended up there, after we had eliminated, even though some of them might not be ideal, I think they should still be in the list and people can vote for them. But like the Hoke House, it's a questionable property, just because it's not kept up that well, and plus those 2 east windows are replacement windows that are completely different from the rest of the house. That rules it out in my book.
Well, that in effect that it's 10 apartments and the buildings in the back are just falling apart.
Yeah, they are. So the only thing worth any, really even considering it for an award would be the front building.
Yeah.
The back, I agree with your points, Kathleen. So, but it's still on the list. And the 706 Market Street. See, I thought Carol Nemeth was talking about that house, but she actually was talking about the Lafayette Street house on the Moore Family Homestead.
Yes, 319.
So I guess that 706 Market Street would just eliminate that one. It
Okay,
has replacement windows anyway.
I'm sorry, which one were you suggesting though, Carol Nemeth?
319 Lafayette, there, it has the original windows, a wood siding, clapboard siding.
No, it doesn't, Carol. I went over there today. It has vinyl or aluminum siding.
That's not wood. I went by it today. That's not wood.
Did you touch it?
I didn't tap on it. No.
I went up to it.
Could we,
And yeah, so
Hey,
it's got, it's,
Kathy, I have a question and a comment.
sure.
My question is, the house on Market that you originally everybody was saying they had plastic railings, that now they're wooden, that we're gonna,
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, right.
Oh, that's
I
not
forget
a
what's the name of that one.
Holmes
um,
house, right?
Holmes house.
Yes,
You
anyway,
need-
that one, I noticed there's already a little plaque by the door. And also, where I live, in the alley where Tom Carroll lives, he has a little plaque in his window. And there are little plaques around town that seem to indicate, are these like awards that were given?
Oh, those
before?
are those old,
Store.
those are those old pewter plaques that the Historic Preservation Commission did about 25 or 30 years ago.
Okay.
So you will see these around, and they weren't any kind of awards. The commission just went and wanted to mark some historic houses. So that's what they're all about.
So, since we're tapping on things, Kathy, I'd like you to go ahead and tap on the porch railing.
I did that today, Carol.
And
could we back up for a minute? Are we talking about the little house that's on the Moore Family Homestead property?
Yes.
Okay, according to Diane Clare, that is one of the more interesting houses in Haverty Graves. It is what she called a home-built house. Have you ever been inside? It is very cool.
I
Yeah.
have-
Yeah, I have.
Now, whether it has aluminum siding or not, I honestly cannot.
It does. I can vouch for that because I went up to it today and I actually felt it and knocked on it. And I was really shocked. I thought it would have clapboard siding.
So did I.
That brings me to I had a question. I also have a comment.
Yeah.
Kathy, you gave us a list of standards for historic properties, and the number 6. I get my number 6 says deteriorated historic features shall be repaired rather than replaced. Where the severity of their deterioration requires replacement of a distinctive feature, the new feature shall match the old in design, color, texture, and other visual qualities where possible, and where possible, materials. And the fact that from the street you couldn't tell it was aluminum siding or wood clapboard is at the basis of my question and comment. And the comment is that if someone restores their house with modern materials, but retains the look, the feel, the texture of a historic material, why shouldn't that be considered a candidate? And windows too. Windows.
Yeah, that's a good
Replacement
point.
windows can be the ugliest things in the world, or they can be very much traditional windows with muntins,
Yeah, they can.
so on.
That would be fine as long as they're replaced. As long as the windows are, if the windows are replaced, as long as they're replaced with the same style that the
Right.
original windows were. And as far as vinyl or aluminum siding, I don't think that should. I personally,
So
It-
the 319 house, I'm gonna say again, is done so well that to look at it, it looks like clapboard siding. It truly does.
Okay, we can be on the list and see who votes for it.
And the standard you gave us says where possible.
Mhm.
And of course, that could mean that those materials don't even exist anymore. But it might also mean that those materials are so expensive to attain
Right,
and install that it's economically difficult for anyone to do that.
sure.
That's true.
I think you bring up a really good point, Roger. I would argue though that wood clapboard is still available, and it's,
And plus, this is just covering up wood clapboard.
oh, it is? Well, but I mean, for example, like copper downspouting is a beautiful feature of many
Yeah,
magnificent.
or a slate roof. I understand.
Right, and to replace with the exact same original material would probably mean that the homeowner couldn't afford to do it
Yeah.
because, it's, so I think there's a scarcity issue. Like if you tried to replace marble that was no longer being, found in the world or something, as well as the expense issue. In this particular example, you're saying that the clapboard is underneath the aluminum, Kathy?
I'm assuming that the vinyls or aluminum siding is covering up the clapboard. I didn't actually see that, so.
Interesting. Well,
That's almost
we are
always the way,
educating
so.
ourselves about a city-owned property, and even if it doesn't enter into this discussion of the awards particularly, it behooves us, I think as a historic preservation, it behooves us to know about this and to be able to research it and to be able to give, an educated advice to the city on how they might be able to, preserve and protect that building. Because it is a cool house. It really is.
Yeah, it is. It definitely is.
Yeah.
Could
Very
I,
good.
could I take up what Roger said and ask that maybe that house at 706 Market be put back on the list? Because I think the windows that are replaced in there are very much Victorian styled windows.
Yeah, I do. I agree with you there, Jim, because the windows were replaced, but as far as I know, they were replaced with the same style. Because my other house on Bourbon Street had the same 1/1 type of windows. So that's important, that they're replaced with the same style. And I
So-
do, it
So
has
you're
that.
gonna bring
addition.
the Meyer House back on the list at 706 South
Yeah,
Market.
let's keep it on the
Okay.
list.
All right.
Um,
Okay, I put it back. I took it
We
off.
can have a lot of people, we can have a lot of houses on the list and people, and this is a good educational conversation that we're having.
It's
you know,
excellent. This is
It's
the kind
really
of,
good for the rest of the committee members to think about this kind of stuff.
absolutely.
And are you gonna put up the criteria that, just the simplified criteria that I put up? Because that was just to make it easy for people based
Mhm.
on the standards.
But those aren't necessarily our standards. Those are
No, they're not.
No,
our-
but the
those are
standards.
just established standards, guidelines.
Right. So I sent out our criteria that we're using, and it's a simplified version of the Secretary's standards for rehab of historic houses. And it's the same thing. It's just simpler.
Kathy, could you send that out again? Because I couldn't bring it up. When I brought it up, all the lines of text were just black lines.
Well, don't we have that, Carolyn, for Adam to put up?
Yeah, I have it. You keep calling me Carolyn.
I mean, Jean, I'm so sorry.
Okay, I'm just teasing. Don't fret. Here it is. I got it.
Yeah,
Hold
this will be a good reminder, Roger.
Can everyone see the criteria?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, the numbers aren't right. Well, yeah, it doesn't have number 1 and number 2, but yeah, the what Roger was talking about was the number 5. Wait a minute. No, number 4.
Well, really, number 3, you're saying replacement
Oh, right.
acceptable if it matches the original.
Right.
And if aluminum siding matches it so much that you can't even tell till you go up and tap on it, then I would say that it would be acceptable.
Well, aluminum siding vinyl siding is getting better, and
Or
also
even vinyl siding, very high quality vinyl siding mimics
And,
historical clapboards.
well, I guess then we have the standards. and I guess people can just decide what they think. My personal opinion is that if the original material is covered up by something else, that eliminates it.
But you don't know what the original materials might look like. They might
That's
be
true. Well,
rotted and termite damaged and
Yeah,
insect damaged, whatever.
we don't, yeah, we'll never really be able to.
Plus, it's very expensive to maintain a wooden exterior because you have to periodically scrape and repaint.
Yeah, it is.
And
I
then, and then
know.
a lot of
I
those
have
original
house.
clapboards
Yeah.
are, a lot of those original clapboards underneath the siding are covered with lead paint.
I know all that, Roger, because I had a house.
Right, you sure did.
Okay, all right, well, so I will send the link around to everyone for the spreadsheet. Later on, I'm gonna show you how the spreadsheet also shows all the awards we've given over the last years from 2002. You may add a property to it if you want to. Probably easiest if you just send it to me and I'll add it. And then we'll try to do that by, before Christmas. And then by January, we'll be ready to have informed votes, keeping in mind the standards. And Kathy, we were wondering about that award letter thing, but we're going to beef up that language or create it to really require the recipients to.
Right.
Many do, and they look great, but as you said, many choose not to. And the whole point is to celebrate and to point out to people walking by and people in the town that we have some wonderful people doing preservation. So, okay. Anything else about the award process? Anybody?
Jean, may I ask one question?
Sure.
This had come up at the previous meeting, and I just wanted to revisit it for a moment. Sometimes people they retain the original windows. They keep them, but those windows, might allow air to get in. So they put storm windows over them. They preserve the original windows, but they put storm windows so that to save on heating costs.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah. So how do we feel about that?
Storm windows are fine.
Yeah.
Storm windows are totally acceptable and desirable to protect the historic fabric of the original windows. As long as the dividing thing in the middle, matches the windows, but most of them do. So yes, they're fine. They're desirable actually to protect the windows. My old house on Bourbon Street had storm windows.
Right.
And you could really hardly tell it. And some people put interiors, but then storms, but they don't really protect the fabric of the old window as well. They don't protect it at all, basically.
Yeah. So I feel like I saw a couple that met that criteria. So I'll just read.
Okay. What was the address of the Lafayette Street house, Carol? What did you say it was?
19, Kath.
319?
Yeah, I think that's
Okay.
19.
Or 314?
314?
No, it would be an odd number on
Odd
that.
side, it'd be an odd number, so it's 319.
Okay.
So, and that's of course, ownership is City of Havre de Grace.
Right. Now, I did notice about the old Bowman apartment building where WHGM radio station.
Oh, yeah. Does anybody else had noticed that? Yeah.
Well, it's covered with stucco. The original, there are old pictures of that building, and it was originally wooden. It was originally wooden clapboards because I asked.
That makes sense. Okay.
So it's really all the windows have been replaced and the stucco covers so I don't really feel that. You can keep it on the list, but I wouldn't vote for it because
I just thought the facade looked nice, but it just seemed to me like someone had spruced it up, and
it does look nice.
it does look nice, but I had no idea if it was original or if it was, anything.
Yeah.
So I'll take it. I don't feel strongly about it. I just wanted to point it out to others.
We could remember that for beautification.
Well, I wanted to point one out that I thought
Beautification.
for the Methodist Church, which is a beautiful stucco and a beautiful design 4-square house, but the windows are really awful.
Which one is this, Roger?
They're replacement windows and they don't look anything like old windows.
You mean the minister's the manse?
Yes.
Where, yeah. So,
Yeah,
Oh,
Reverend Norman's house.
right. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, have any old pictures of that building, although I always go to Marita for these old pictures of houses.
I mean, that house, everything about it looks really nice, except
Yeah.
for the windows.
I know, it does. Now, I don't know what the original windows look like, if that's the same style or that was a completely different style, I don't know. But yeah, that's another possibility.
Okay, anybody else on the awards? Okay. Under, let's see, under talking about anything related to demolitions. Oh boy, I just got today a notification from Shane that a demolition order has been made for 1921 Pulaski Highway. That is the old Mitchell Farm, which I remembered as a child, a place you went and bought corn. It's on the west side of Route 40, kind of near Gashi Creek. Do you know where? Is it, you know where I mean?
That's just before the Swan Creek,
Yes,
yes, shopping center, whatever that is.
right,
They
right.
just annexed that property last year, isn't that right, Kara?
Yes, and it was
And,
for the purpose of this development. Mhm.
Yeah, and the purpose, included the demolition of the farmhouse.
What was that, 1920?
That was made public then, Kathleen?
So it wasn't made public, but Jim Rinsecker sort of alluded to it, that they were going to tear down the old farmhouse and the other building.
Well, anyway,
$2 out of it, as he put it.
Okay, the county, that was part of the county before they annexed it in.
Yeah,
And the county had, basically, they were okay with them building this apartment complex. But they could get water, but they couldn't get sewer. So that's why they petitioned the city to annex them in so that they could get facilities, they could get water and sewer. Otherwise, it would still be part of the county.
I guess we'll get a picture of it from the city with the demolition request, right?
actually Shane sent me a picture already, but it's not very good because he acknowledged that it's got trees, and I literally got this today.
Okay.
There are trees around the house. The house is 1850.
Oh,
And I pressed Shane about possible historical interest in the house. Mitchell is a prominent name in the history of Harford County farming, and a lot of other things. And Kathleen, you and Roger would have had to have a good laugh today when I was trying to do a deed search on this property.
oh
Because it is so complicated. There are so many deeds associated with it. But anyway,
no, know all about that.
oh my goodness, I don't know how you did it. But anyway, I found some interesting things about the property, really fascinating things. Not so much about the house, but about the things that happened there.
Can you tell us?
People perhaps being released from indenture and other things.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really fascinating. You know how hard it is to read those handwritten.
Yeah.
deeds.
Oh, we know.
Yes.
We know.
Yeah.
I love that part though.
That said, I pressed Shane a little bit about maybe we could do some kind of documentation. And interestingly, they had to do an NEPA impact statement for this property because it's getting federal funding. So there's some really interesting angles to all this, and I
Yes.
pretend to know all of it, but it's possible that there might be an opportunity for some of us to provide some historical context about the property. There's also some suggestion that some of the architectural materials will be salvaged. That is unclear as yet, but
Yeah, if they're going to demolish it, I'd like to know that they could maybe give some of the stuff to like Restore or someplace like that?
Well, we don't, yeah, I mean, Shane, this is all kind of what he is able to glean and not necessarily the whole, I mean, he was sharing very openly with me what he knew. So we'll stay tuned on that. It's 1921 Pulaski Highway. The demolition is going to happen probably early in the new year. So yeah.
So can we talk about that, Jean, now? Early
Yeah.
in the new year, okay, so this is probably a good time to just talk about it real quick, like,
Sure.
hey, can we, so this is a done deal. I mean, this thing's going down, right, Jean? Okay, so.
As far as I know, yep.
Okay, so really, I'd really like to kind of impress upon them that if at all possible, we can take anything out of that house that's
Mhm.
architectural significance that
Mhm.
we would like to, that would be wonderful. And I really want to really impress that upon everyone that we need to ask. We really need to ask. 'Cause
Okay, I'm prepared to press Shane about that. Of course, he's not the developer, he's a city official, but I know he'll do his best. Carolyn and I are having a meeting with him tomorrow about another matter, and so we will we will press him about it, and maybe I'll have more information. Literally, I was reading.
Thursday.
I'm sorry, Thursday. Yeah, forgive me. I'm in the some other place. Well, now it would be really cool, in my view, is if we could do a little history of the property or something to mark its demise, and as you point out, Carol, maybe get some physical objects taken out of the house. I have no idea. Do most of you know what it looks like? It's a
Yes,
big white Victorian house.
it's a nice looking old house.
Lovely old house.
It is.
It's very sad, very sad.
Lovely old house.
I knew somebody whose great grandmother lived there. She used to go in there. I want to.
Really?
Yeah, she was going there visiting like 30 some years ago. She was still going into that house.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Now, had it been a rental for the last number of years or so?
It has been a rental, and I don't know if the person still lives there, but they initially, when it came up for council, it was almost a year ago, it was rented at that time.
Uh-huh.
I can
Okay.
remember being on the Candlelight tour years ago.
Really?
Really?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Well, there was a person named Pearl Mitchell, who I believe was the last Mitchell to live there. I may be wrong. As I said, my head was spinning trying to look at these
Probably, Jean.
owners, and I think her husband might have been a George Mitchell, but the original 19th century guy was Joseph G. Mitchell. Yeah. Okay, well, that's the news about 1921 Pulaski Highway, and I will send you by email updates, and we will press to see what we might be able to make a belated save of this house.
Yeah, because, I did get permission from Clark Turner before they tear down the old the Dubois Lumber Company house.
The
To get
Dubois.
doors and brackets and stuff off the building.
Great.
So it would be nice if we could, take some of the stuff off the old Mitchell farmhouse.
Yep.
Rather than let it get just put into the wrecking ball.
Yeah. Well, as I said, there's some suggestion that someone who's involved in the project understands that salvaging something might be appropriate. Again, I don't know anything about the house. Okay. Let me see here. Anybody else? Just pop in while I look for something else that I want to show you and consult my agenda here. We'll jump over that thing about the county, although Jim, I am still learning about certified local government thing.
And there's only one property in Haverty Grace listed as a historic property with the county, and that's the AME cemetery. And most of this county properties are churches or schools or things that really wouldn't get a tax break anyway. So I don't know
Interesting.
if I don't know how that is all working.
Mhm.
It's odd to me that the lighthouse wouldn't be on there, the lock house wouldn't be on there,
Right.
the house wouldn't be on there. I mean, there's certainly Hartford County.
Well, the lock house and the lighthouse, even their documentation even predated the designation of the National Register of Historic Districts that Havre de Grace got. I mean, they were done in the 70s.
Well, this county thing, I don't think has been around that long, but
No, it hasn't.
I think
yeah.
you probably have to apply to it.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
it's interesting, if you saw the list, it's an interesting collection of mostly either public or religious buildings. There's very
Mhm.
few
Yeah.
private, but it looks to me like a real opportunity if we can crack the puzzle there that we could.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it at all. We've got a bunch of things in the pipeline here, including the conservation district idea, which we of course want to return to. So, but I haven't forgotten about that. I am interested, as I think we all are. Okay. The presentation awards spreadsheet. I just want to mention this. I'll remind you when I send it around, but the spreadsheet has 2 sheets to it. I just want you to understand, this is the sheet we were just looking at moments ago with the candidates for this year's awards, or next year's awards, actually. So you can see down here, can everyone see where my cursor is?
Yes.
We can see that this spreadsheet is devoted to the candidates for this year. Obviously, it's something that's going to change. But then the second sheet, I collated all the or input all the winners over time, and this is just going to be a nice reference document. Of course, eventually we ought to have pictures with all these, like the document Kathy shared around. But this way, it just, I personally am a fan of spreadsheets. You can just look at things. You can just see things better. You can copy them and paste them into something else. So this is what I did. So there, it goes up to 2020, and it's there for anybody to consult. And again, I'll send around the link to this, and I will maintain this, and I'll probably, I think I can, I do have space on or I shouldn't say I have, the Preservation Commission has space on the city Google files, and I'll park it up there just for safety's sake, and maintain it. So that is the list of all the winners since 2002. And then, what else did I want to talk about? Let's see. Anybody else want to jump in, say anything for a minute?
Did we discuss the memberships to the different historic preservation?
Yes, we have, I think we have 3, and I was kind of waiting to see when the renewals came in, whether we could be clear on exactly which ones. To my mind, we have Preservation Maryland, National Historic Preservation, and the third one was Maryland Association of Historic Commissioners. I'm getting the name wrong.
Maryland Association of Historic District Commissions, that
Thank you, Kathy. Yeah. So that would be the third one.
That one, National Trust for Historic Preservation and Preservation Maryland.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I already got a renewal for.
I did too.
Yeah, for one of them.
A couple of them, and I've gotten emails saying, please renew.
So, but did you have, it was my understanding that individual memberships had been purchased for each commissioner.
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
I thought I had my own. I don't know.
Yeah, I have.
The letter I got said, renew your membership, and it didn't have a membership fee. It had suggested membership donations starting at $40.
Hmm.
So I don't know how much the membership fee was when the city paid for it. Or,
Okay, let's back up for a minute. Some organizations have an institutional membership and then all their members have access to that membership. Others have, oh dear, Carol Nemeth is having technical difficulties. Oh dear. The other category is somebody else pays for individual memberships. I think that's what happened here. And now, of course, they've not been renewed because of the change in our, in our setup here.
I just wondered if the fee that the city paid for our membership, was it $40 or some other amount?
Yeah, it was an individual membership. Yes,
Yeah,
I
but
believe that's
the individual letter, the letter we got didn't specify a membership fee. It just said renew your membership, and then they had
Well,
suggested donations
some of,
starting at $40.
yeah, but some of them are like that. They don't want to call it a membership fee. They call it a donation. I don't know. And I don't have, I mean, I'll try to get the paperwork from Ron. I tried before. I just don't know. And I don't have a clear memory of what had been done. But either way, what I would encourage all of you to do, whether you choose to pay for your own membership or whether we figure out a way for the city to pay for everyone's membership, just make sure you're on their email list, because there's a lot you can get just based on their email, an actual physical copy of their journal or their magazine, maybe not part of the.
Yeah, but the city did pay for our memberships because after Ron sent the information and we started getting the magazines and.
I know that,
Yes.
Kathy,
Yeah.
Kathy, but I have we've received no renewal.
Did Ron receive a renewal? Do you know?
Well, I've asked him about this. I mean, I'm sure he would have called or emailed me and said, look, I've gotten a renewal. It's my understanding that it would have come to City Hall. At least that's what Ron told me. And that's one reason why I wanted to make sure we had a mailbox there so we didn't miss things like this. But we'll get to the bottom of this.
Let me see if I can find out if the city got the renewal. Because you're saying that some of them are institutional, so if it's.
Well, I
if it's-
thought one of them was, or maybe it's just the commissioner one, which is free anyway or something. I don't know.
All right, let me see if I can find out. I have a note here to try to, I'll go to George and see what he
I
knows
didn't
and.
pay sufficient attention to it. I do think though, and I imagine most of you agree with me, and not all, that I think it's a good thing for the city to pay for our memberships because it is part of our continuing education.
Well, when you say the city is paying for it, it comes out of our budget, our city budget.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, I mean, of course, it is the city paying for it, but the city gives us this money and to spend, and this is a very good cause. I mean.
Well, I don't think anyone's
really-
questioned. I don't think anybody's questioning that. Yeah. I think.
yeah, we're just trying to find out what the process is.
Oh, yeah, I think it's
And
important.
it's yearly, right? It's not biannual.
It's
not-
yearly.
It's yearly.
Oh, yeah.
It's yearly.
Okay, all right. So then it must have been done around this time last year.
Right. I probably was. Thanks,
Okay.
Carol.
Sure.
Yeah, and this brings up another point that goes back to our discussion of the expenditures for the medallions and the escrow account. I think it's entirely appropriate that, we look at these two funds. And I think Carolyn's back. I've got to admit her. Okay. Hello, Carolyn. I didn't know.
You mean Carol?
Carol.
Carol's connecting.
Sorry. Yep. Thank you, Carolyn.
I never looked.
Yeah, I think, continuing education is super important. So we
Yeah.
have got a way to pay for it, and we will.
Mhm.
Okay. Welcome back, Carol and Jim. Hope you didn't lose your electricity. Okay. Okay, that's just here from me earlier. The only other thing I have, and I'm going to send this around separately as an email, is I really want everyone, darn it, to accept a portfolio assignment of some kind. And I have a list of things. And I think it's important that we all have little areas of responsibility on the commission. Several of us already do, most. And so I'll send that around and we can talk about it in January. At, what people might want to do or prefer to do. For example, I stupidly asked Kathy about how, wouldn't it be a good idea if we gave the awards during Preservation Month? And she reminded me that we do. But thank you, Kathy. But my point is, I'd really like to do something more at Preservation Month. I think that's got to be our main focus. And so, yes, we give out the awards Preservation Month and we show up the city council, but maybe we could do a little something more to promote preservation in general, but also specific, things that are going on in our own town that relate to honoring history and preserving properties. So that would be one thing, just to do a little more on Preservation Month. Glad you're back, Carol Nemeth and Jim. Was the Spencer Silver House in a black hole somewhere?
You all froze and we said,
We all froze. No.
then we said, hey, maybe it's us. We felt like
We're the ghosts in Havre de Grace are going for you. Well, it's dark here now. So anyway,
Yeah.
I figure you have to be somewhere like California or Oregon or something. You're way out there.
I'm on the left coast. They call it the best coast out here, but
Yeah.
I like it. But I won't give up my East Coast love either. Okay, anything else for the good of the commission?
Yeah, I have a quick question. Has everyone gotten notices for renewing memberships or just a couple people? Has it
I
been
have not.
consistent?
It's possible I have. I'm not up on all my mail.
Mhm.
Okay,
Throw it in a pile and I have to work on it.
I will look for one. Those who have received it, have they come by email, I assume?
No, mine came by mail.
Yours came by
Mine
mail.
came by mail and email.
Hmm, okay.
which one came? All three of them or one of them or?
No, the only one I got was for the National Trust.
Yeah, that's the one we got, National
Yeah.
Trust.
Okay.
Okay, so it looks like maybe the National Trust is sending out at one point. We don't know if they're all going to be sending you renewals at the same time then.
Right.
oh, you mean for National Trust renewal? Yes, I did.
Okay. right.
Good. Okay.
Okay, so that one looks pretty consistent, but we don't know about the Preservation Maryland or the District Commission.
And
Right.
when we do get this resolved, Carolyn, we'll also need to make sure Candace and Kevin and who else Jim and Roger have,
thank you.
well, you and Kathleen can share one. No,
That's okay.
Yeah.
that
And we can share one. We can save $40 or whatever.
There you go. All right. So that's it for me.
Let me say one thing. Does everybody, I've had a lot of communication mainly with Jim about this, the Lafayette Trail medallions, but does everybody know that we have ordered the new orders? Everybody knows that because mostly I've just been communicating with Jim about it, about payment for it, and that Signature Streetscapes company that he mentioned. That's the company where we get the medallions. So,
And
June-
nine we're paying for, and one was a
Yeah.
local.
Uh,
No,
No.
8 we're paying for and 2,
Two.
Diane Goldman.
Debbie.
I'm sorry.
Goldman.
Yeah,
Okay,
Deborah Goldman.
and Steve
Steve-
Gamatoria.
Right. So they're all on order. They were ordered by Judy Plitt. She's still taking care of that.
Oh, is she? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's nice of her to do
The
that.
actual ordering of those. So she has placed, I went out and picked all the locations where I think I told everybody that,
Mhm.
where I thought we
Yeah.
should put them and gave that to Judy and she placed the order. So we'll be getting them. That's all done. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
Great, Kathy. Thank you. I know it's been a lot of work, but then you know the Lafayette Trail so well, so you got stuck with this.
Yeah, that's okay. That's okay.
Well, I know you enjoy it, but we also appreciate your time on it. All right. Anything else for the good of the commission?
Yeah, I'd just like to bring up, we have $4,500 roughly in city money that so I think the city fiscal year ends in June. So we need to think about how we want to spend that money.
Right.
I know I've talked with Kathy. Sounds like we're probably got a year's worth of Lafayette Trail brochures still stockpiled. So I'm not so sure we want to print up another batch of those, but maybe there's something else we can do.
Yeah, this goes back to my point about doing more to publicize and educate about preservation. I was thinking that, we might want to do some sort of big sign or poster about the people who get the awards this year, or we might want to sponsor a talk in May. I'm reluctant to bring that up because we're probably not going to have audiences in May, but do something to spend that money down, but with a particular focus on public education. That's in my view, but I think in January we could talk about this more. And I'm glad you brought it up, Jim, because we really should be using that money to do what we've been charged to do.
Anyone that, excuse me, Jean, is there anybody that would think that a person might like Havre de Grace Historic Preservation flag?
Oh, that's an interesting idea.
Flag.
That you could,
That's a good idea.
would that be something that?
That's a cool idea, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, oh, good. So that then maybe we should all think about like having a design for a flag, you know? I hate to toot his horn. Well, I don't, but he does love flags. He's a flag.
I do too. I think everybody
like
has
flags, yeah.
He didn't know I was going to come up with this idea, but what do you think about that, Jim?
Just put him on the spot while you're at it.
People besides me like flags. So.
This is a cool idea. Maybe we could do a variation
Does
of the banners that
it-
that Big House Signs did for us a couple years ago. Maybe we could do, the history counts or the history matters or.
Well, maybe, those little yard sign flags
Uh-huh.
that would say something about historic preservation.
Yeah, oh, I love
or-
it.
or the-
I love it.
And maybe that'd be something you could give to
Mhm.
the folks, even if they get a medallion, something that they, anybody will stick one of those in their yard because they know it's
Sure,
forever, whatever. So,
Maybe
Yeah.
we could make up one for the beautification award winners too.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So they have a little garden flag or a big flag that they could,
that would be great.
Absolutely.
because all they get now is they get that little, that sign that we have in the summer, and then I take that away before Halloween.
Right.
This way it would be kind of like a permanent thing that their house was,
I had, if there was a historic preservation flag, I would buy it and I would put it on my house. I know that for sure.
Yeah. No, I think that's really a brilliant idea.
I think, everybody think about what they think is a good idea. I mean, we could submit those to Eugene and we
Yeah, I think it's a lovely idea. We
Okay.
just need to agree on a design and a message on it and see how affordable they are and all that good stuff. I think it'd be wonderful.
And can I just bring up one other thing since we're talking medallion signs and all? I was cleaning out the visitor center back room and I came across two bronze, I think, plaques that say this house survived the War of 1812. From what I understand, they were given out to the houses that survived the War of 1812
Right.
time. So there's two more of them, and I don't know that there's all that many of them that are being used on the properties now. So kind of keeping in mind what Kathy says, we can either give them to them as they are with the proviso that they have to put them up, or I could mount them on a piece of wood or something and put a stake on it. They could set it right in front of their house or something like that. And so there's two of them, which obviously is not going to cover every house, but
Right. That's so interesting. I wonder if they were never actually installed.
No, a lot of them weren't. And we have the brochure on this that Diane Clare made up. And all of these medallions were given out to these survivors. There's very few that are on any houses.
Oh, I didn't know.
Isn't the Goldsboro house I think that one did. Maybe we could like.
Some of them are up, like the one on that double house that's on, well, I can't think of the address of it now.
Congress. the Malin House, the double Malin House.
Yeah, that was there.
On Washington. It's on
And-
that house.
And also the Barnes Boyd house, or not Barnes Boyd, the one in
Barnes
the
House.
middle of where Picture Show is. He had one. He has one for that building, but he doesn't have it up on the wall. I saw it laying on the sidewalk.
Jeez.
But I talked to him and he has it. But I think his problem is he just hadn't gotten around to putting it up. I asked him if he needed help and he said he knows how to do it.
Hmm.
So
Well,
that's
That's a good thing to pursue and
It's been 8 years since those.
I know.
So if you haven't gotten around to it yet.
Wow, 8 years.
oh
Well,
my God.
those two that
Kathy,
I-
which house is that?
The what is it called? The Barnes,
Oh,
not the Barnes Boyd house. It's the one on Lafayette, near Lafayette, Rochambeau Plaza, where the Picture Show is. That one, the Green Street.
You mentioned that, but I think there's a plaque on it that says it was built after the war. It was built like 1840s or 50s.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a plaque on the building.
Okay, so.
Well, we'll all have to check this out. Yeah, when you first brought this up, Jim, I was reminded of Ron sharing with us at some earlier meeting, the issue of the Washington plaques
Oh, yeah.
that,
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask about.
missing. And then, yeah, and the one in front of the Henry House has been
Oh, right.
installed,
Yeah.
right, or put back
Yeah.
up, whatever. Yeah. Yeah. And so that I jumped to that, but I didn't know about this thing at all. So yeah, we should.
And, the Rogers house doesn't have one on it, and Abby Berger is moving in there.
I
So
know.
They may
Right.
like to have
I
that on
think they
there.
would.
I bet. Yeah, that's a good idea, Jim. We could give them, if they,
It
I
can-
don't know, you could ask, Diane's the person to ask.
I've got a picture to show everybody. I have never look at, can you see this?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Not showing up very well on my screen.
that's
Yeah,
the Washington plaque. Yeah.
No,
Washington plaque
Washington signature. yeah.
on the Rogers house in Perryville. And
Oh,
it's been beautifully restored.
yeah, it's a lot better shape than the one
And it
we,
would be nice to restore the one here.
I agree. That one in front of the Wright Henry House needs restored.
So we could put that on our
On our budget.
our money on. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I know I shared with some of you an article from when Havre de Grace got its historic district designation. And it happens to be a picture of my dad. So of course the picture's of interest to me, but that's in front of Rochambeau Plaza, and there is a Washington marker
Yeah.
there, and it's
Yeah.
not there anymore. So I don't know what happened to it.
Oh,
There
wow.
was one, but the head was gone. Wasn't that the one where the head
Well,
was?
it's,
Yeah.
I believe in the photograph, which is from 1980 something, maybe, that it looks intact, but I'll have to check it again. I'm not sure.
I think now the head is missing from it, but yeah, that's our other sign. We have two of them in town that I know of.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, but okay, so we're gonna get this sorted out. We're gonna do something for the Elizabeth Rogers house, and yeah. What's the point of having things in a closet, right? Let's get them.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks for bringing that up,
Thanks,
Jim.
Jim.
Great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, that's wonderful. All right. Well, I wish you all a safe and happy Merry Christmas.
The Ravens game's on tonight.
Kathy.
I'll pass.
The only Ravens staying here.
Now remember the Candlelight Tour is this Saturday.
Yes, Ellen, you've done it. You've done it, Roger. Oh my
no, you got
Oh, boy. I don't know how you could do that. The lighting here is horrible.
goodness. Amazing. It's
Sometimes that
amazing.
helps.
Okay.
All right,
Hi.
we're all set then.
Yeah.
Glad you're here, Candace. We didn't give you a moment to speak.
Oh, that's fine.
This is
I'm still learning and listening.
So Jean, on Thursday is it a conference call? What are we doing?
Happy
Shane.
holidays, everyone.
I got a
Have a
Zoom
good
link
night.
from Shane.
Okay, okay, I'll take a look and see if I have that
And you
email.
had to change the time from.
What time is it?
Honestly,
I had-
I think it's 3:30, but let me check. Sorry, guys, we're just doing our own thing here.
I see the Ravens game in the
3:30
background.
your time, 3:30 your time, 12:30 mine.
Okay, I don't know if I'll be able to make that.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll find out what we need to know. This is
Okay.
in reference.
I'll try, but I don't know if I can make that because Pete has an appointment at 2 at the dentist. I don't know how long we're gonna take, so
Sure,
and
okay.
get back and stuff.
This is in reference to ordinance 1045, which, as you all know, gives.
Yeah, they had the second reading last night and it passed, and I
Right.
did mention.
Oh, yeah, I'm
that-
sorry. I should have told everyone. It did pass last night. Yeah.
Yeah. And I did mention during the meeting that you all have been very interested in that and you're
Great.
pleased with, opening up of this partnership, basically.
Wonderful. Well, the meeting tomorrow with Shane basically is, I had suggested that we have some kind of liaison with the planning
Right.
commission. And so.
Thursday, though, you mean Thursday, not tomorrow.
Yes, right. I'm sorry. I said tomorrow
Okay.
again. Forgive me.
Yeah, okay.
Thursday, we're going to talk about ways that we can facilitate interaction between the planning
Mm-hmm.
commission and historic preservation, particularly in light of the new responsibilities we have with ordinance 1045.
Yep,
So
okay,
I'll
perfect.
report back to you on that in January. Yeah. I'm sorry, Carolyn.
right.
what did you say?
Yeah, no, if I can make it, I'll definitely be there.
Oh,
You know,
good.
Just,
Okay.
yeah, I'll give it, I'll do the best I can.
I understand. All right.